stream. I don't know if this is live because the last one I attempted wasn't working, so I've tried to restart the whole system and see if it fixes anything. Yes, okay, it's working. Okay, awesome. So, welcome to another brand new season of GT7 in Aero League Racing. This is Tier 4. I'm Rossab, I'm a Tier 3 driver, and I'm going to be commentating on this tier this season, doing some post-coms to see what the crack is and who's going to be champion. So let's go through our first grid of the season. We've got a 12-car grid for this sprint race, a 15-minute race, obviously. We got the Genesis X on pole position. That's Bomber, whose Discord tag is Yeah Right. So everyone's been saying that he's the favourite to win, so let's see how he does in this race. I think he finished second in Tier 4 last season after a really strong end to the season. So yeah, he's still in Tier 4 and is the favourite. Then we got the Peugeot, which had, just like the Gen X, has received a big buff this season. That's Capel in P2. I think he was Tier 3 last season. He's dropped down to Tier 4. Turbo Boy also had a strong end to last season. All three of these drivers are in their second season now of Aero League Racing. In the other Peugeot, so good start for Peugeot in qualifying. Then we've got Oscar Bacon in the 911, which is always very popular in ALR. And then the other Genesis of 9 Ball. Black Charizard makes his return after a couple of seasons away. He's in P6 in the Audi, followed by Sick in P7 in the Huracan, which is making one of its very first race debuts in ALR after getting a nice little buff in one of the updates we had recently. Then we have Andres in P8 in the Renault. Whack Jamps making his debut in P9 in the McLaren, really good car. Then we have Ben dropping down from Tier 2, he's starting in P10. Then we have Pasty, who was in second place for quite a long time last season in Tier 4, and then I think dropped down to 4th at the end. So he starts 11th, and we've got Adam Millsy making his debut after joining from the F1 side. He is also in the Audi, so he is leading out the field. So we've got the top 10 who are going to score points today. Bomber already has a point for getting fastest lap, so let's get started and see how we do. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Someone has done a false start back there, and lights out away we go. And it looks like Capel got a great start and has already got the move done on the Genesis. So he looks like he's going to be leading into turn 1. He leaves the door slightly open but closes it again, so he protects his lead. Bomber into P2 and Turbo Boy really close behind P3. Looks like Oscar has managed to get back past 9 Ball and keep P4 as we go through the S's in the first sector. Really difficult portion of the track where it's really easy to lose seconds if you go offline. So let's see what's happening a little bit further down. Looks like Oscar's defending a lot from 9 Ball, who's trying to stick his nose in, but not enough to get a move done. Looks like Black Charizard is in P6, but he's getting hassled by Pasty, who started outside the top 10, already up to 7th. So must have had a great first couple of corners. So we got Ben, Guardrail of it, Whack Jumps, Adam and Sick, who you can see was just off the track a little bit there. So good start for Capel. I think he won a couple of races last season as well, so definitely knows how to lead a race. Got Pasty making his way up to P6 there on Black Charizard. Let's just rewind a little bit and see what he did. As 9 Ball is battling a little bit further up, but I don't think any overtakes happened there. So going into the hairpin, ooh, he just got a much better exit. Took way more speed through the corner of Black Charizard and caught Charizard with his pants down a little bit there, and he gets P6. He's going to have a little run on his teammate Oscar here as well. Oscar just beat him in the championship last season, and now they're teammates, so I have a feeling that these two will be going for the constructors, definitely. Two very strong drivers who turn up every week. So here's some screeching a little bit further back. Looked like, I think it was Whack losing a few places there, but we've got Capel as we enter the back straight with a second or two advantage over Bomber. Looks like the top two are leaving Turbo Boy behind a little bit here, who has the other Gen X really close behind him after 9 Ball did get past Oscar Bacon in the end. You have 9 Ball really getting harassed by Oscar though. He must not have had the best chicane there. Lost a lot of time, and he might get overtaken going into turn 1 as we enter lap 2 out of 8 laps that we're going to have in this sprint race. It's a 15-minute race. Ooh, a little bit of contact, and looks like 9Ball was pushed a little bit wide there, and he spins as well, so he's going to drop right to the back of the field as everyone passes him. Let's have a little look again at what happened here. So yeah, he got rear-ended a little bit from Oscar. That was a bit naughty. Surprised that wasn't reported, to be honest, and then he just lost it trying to rejoin the track as well. Really unfortunate for him. Good news for everyone else though. So Capel still has a decent lead over Bomber, maybe about a second and a half as it stands. Let's see if there's any comments on YouTube. Actually, I don't have it open. There isn't. I know there's a couple of you watching though, so hello. So the top 3, yeah, Turbo's managed to close the gap a little bit to Bomber in this second lap so far. Looks like the top 4 are leaving Pasty and Black Charizard behind a little bit there as well. So let's see what's happening a little bit further back. Tyre wear will come into it at the end of this. Oh, what happened there? A little bit of lag, I think. Temporary lag. Pale almost looked like Andy's got off track. No, he hasn't. He's just got really bad lag here, which could be an issue if the 2 behind start closing the gap. Oscar must have had a little mini mistake. Andres just a little bit on his own here. Yeah, so like I was saying, tyre wear is really going to have an impact here. Everyone's on the softs apart from Ben, who's on the mediums. Obviously doesn't have much faith in the Huracan, which is a little bit slidey, really harsh on the rear tyres towards the end of the race. Yeah, he's slagging all over the place, which is going to cause a problem with Bomber, I think. Let's just keep, I keep saying he's going wide, but he's actually not. So I can't tell if he's going to... Well, he's lost it a little bit there. And now he's going to get in the way of his teammate, potentially. He's ghosting through him, and now he's off track. Oh, what a shame. Maybe it's the Canadian connection trying to reach the European service, but he's dropping down the field now. And that means that Bomber's kind of been gifted a P1, and it looks like Oscar's got a 1-second penalty as they've all bunched together behind the lag. So it looks like Oscar's going to try and get a move done on Turbo Boy, despite having the penalty here, which is good news for Bomber, because these two are going to be fighting and letting Bomber just get away with it, to be honest. Yeah, but Turbo Boy's defending really well in this hairpin here, and Pasty looks like he's all on his own now in P4, having worked his way up from 11th place on the grid. That's a really good opening few laps, and Black Charizard looks like he's coming under pressure from Capel, who was our leader until his glitchiness made him go off track, I think. That's what I'm going to blame it on rather than his driving. Let's see what happens. So we've got Oscar Bacon setting his 1-second penalty. That's 1 second on the brakes. Is this going to allow Pasty to close in and maybe get a pass done into the final chicane of the track? Lovely little lights on that car, and right next to the Ray-Ban logo. That's the good thing about starting when the conditions are a little bit darker. You get to see a few extra details. Bomber is in the pits. Is that right? Is it going to be raining? Is he predicting some wet weather? Unfortunately, I can't look at the radar, but I did hear that one of the races was weather affected in Suzuka. A bunch of them are in the pits, so let's follow Turbo Boy a bit, because it looks like it must be getting a little bit wet for these guys. If some of them have gone into the pits, they've probably seen some nasty clouds. It looks Bomber's gone into the intermediates actually. Let's join him. He's got Adam Millsy right next to him, who's obviously stayed out on the softs. So if Millsy can just drive away from him, then we know that at the moment the track conditions are a little bit too dry. Look how dark it is. You can hear the rain coming down there now that we're riding on board. So this could end up being a great little tactic from all the people who pitted, which is and the only one who was at the front was Bomber who pitted. So yeah, look how heavy this rain is. It might actually be wet weather rain by the looks of it, but I think most of these guys are on intermediates. Let's have a little look back. The track is obviously still dry enough for Adam to avoid any sort of spinning. He is brand new to the game, so it's quite impressive that he's kept it on track so far. But look at his tyres there, he's really skidding all over the place, and that probably means it's going to be easy pickings for Bomber here. Bomber won't want to be held up too much though. Yeah, and he gets moved on fairly easily. Let's have a look further down. Intermediates as well for Capel. 9 ball. Ben stayed out on the mediums. That's obviously turned out to be a big mistake for him, as he's sliding all over the place. And Sick is on the intermediates as well, which, even though he's in last place, he should be able to jump these people who Pasty's just approached the final chicane. He nearly went off track, just manages to keep on. He'll be diving into the pits, no doubt now. Turbo Boy, really shaky through the final chicane. What about Oscar? Oscar is cutting the final chicane, so he might get a little penalty there. And that's allowed Guardrail Lover to really close up, and Whack as well. Black Charizard, I should say. And some of them have stayed out, so maybe they don't think that the rain's going to stick around. So Oscar's staying out. Oh, who's that in the wall? It was McLaren. Whack, yeah, he's obviously spun it on the wet surface, and he's already been passed by all the intermediate runners. So we got Bomber is the highest placed intermediate runner in P2 right now, well, and he's in P1 because Oscar couldn't take the opening couple of corners without going off track. I have a feeling this is going to be an incredibly painful lap for him. Pasty is net P2, so let's ride on board with him as he starts to close the gap on Oscar. Let's see what the rain's like. It's not raining anymore, so maybe it's only raining in part of the track, or maybe the rain's already stopped, but Oscar was picked off incredibly easily there by Pasty, and now we've got Capel on the intermediates as well with his laggy internet connection. Let's see if he can get past Oscar quite cleanly without anything too dramatic happening. You see he's a bit off track there. Looks like his internet connection's actually improved a little bit. Oh, actually, take that back, he span. So he's the one that spun on the intermediates, so he's all the way down. So let's have a look. 9 ball is the next one to try and get a pass done on Oscar. And he gets that done incredibly easily. Oscar's not really fighting it, he's just trying to make it round in one piece at the moment. And Turbo Boy's going to have incredible traction compared to him coming out of the hairpin. He's having to really lift off the throttle to avoid rear-ending Oscar here. Actually, Oscar's holding his own still fairly well considering the tyre compound differences. Yeah, well, it's definitely not raining anymore, so maybe Oscar's going to get away with it. Let's see if he actually pits this lap. Yeah, he's taken 130R very gingerly, but Turbo Boy can't get past him like some of the other drivers could quite easily. You can see a little bit of splashing in certain parts of the track. Oscar really needs to find a dry line and stick to it. He's staying out again, so he could potentially win this if the other drivers have to come into pit. But I have a feeling with 4 minutes left, everyone is going to stick on the tyres that they're on and just make it work. Really, really short rain stint here. Oh, yeah, Oscar went off at this point in the... So that must be the wettest part of the track. And now Capel's going to try and get a move done on him again. But he had better traction here. See, you can see a little bit of a dry line now. Oh, he goes a little bit wide there, though. Once you go off that dry line and you hit the dampness on dry tyres, it is easy to skid wide and lose a few seconds. I don't think he's losing too much time to Turbo Boy. Just maybe like a 10th or 2 in each one of these corners at the moment. What about Whack? Whack's still on the softs as well, and he's really close behind. So looks like after his trip into the pit wall, he has avoided making any more mistakes. So it's going pretty good for Jack at the moment. Or Whack. Got to remember that. Whack jumps. Doesn't roll off the tongue. So we go into the hairpin. So this is where a couple of laps ago the intermediate tyre had much better traction, but it looks like Oscar actually had better traction now. So I think we could safely assume that the track is coming back to the dry runners. Oscar may actually be able to start closing the gap a little bit to Turbo Boy here, who's potentially going to get held up a little bit by the Genesis of 9-ball. Tyres are wearing quite quickly as well, these intermediates. Well, they are on the Genesis, which isn't the easiest car on the tyres. It's probably the fastest car, I'd say, out of this lot that we've got at the moment under the current BOP settings, but really, really bad on tyre wear. And look, there we go. Oscar is making his charge through the field. He completely caught Turbo napping there, and now he's going to try and do the exact same here on 9-ball for the last spot of the podium. They had a bit of a coming together there. Not the best overtaking maneuver, but a little bit of argy-bargy, not much to report on there. And now Oscar could potentially try and catch his teammate Pasty towards the end of the race. We're on lap 7, so he struggled in turn 1 yet again. So that's obviously the west part of the track. And now 9-ball's going to maybe try and get a move done, but you can't overtake in the S's in Japan without causing an incident usually. So not much happened with that one. Let's see, where's Bomber at the moment? He is miles ahead. It's going to be quite an easy win for him. But to be honest, it was pretty close with the 3 chasing him, but he pit at the right time and got a massive undercut on them all. And that's basically the story of his win if he gets one. But Pasty setting, so for reference, 2:09 is the current pace of our race leader, 0.2. Pasty was 0.2 quicker, 2:08.4 by Oscar, which I'm guessing this lap's going to be even quicker than that. 2:11 from 9-ball, and now he's going to be holding up Turbo Boy and Whack on the softs as well. So let's just stick with Whack and see what he can do. Yeah, 9-ball's losing it. He's got 1 intermediates on a dry track. And he's twitching all over the place as well. So he's going to lose pace with these two. So it's a question of, can Whack get an overtake done on Turbo before the last chicane? Potentially can get it done in 130R on the outside. Oh, he's going to dive down the inside. Oh, the door was closed a little bit. He's going to try the outside instead. Gets a bit of contact from 9-ball. Oh, it's the final lap. It looks like we just missed out because of the pits and the rain from getting the 8th lap in. So Bomber takes victory. Very, very close between these guys. Let's rewind a little bit and see Bomber take the checkered flag. Didn't put a foot wrong all race, and crucially chose the right time to pit, undercut everybody who came in a lap later. So great use of the weather radar, and our pole sitter converted it into a victory. Pasty, really, really close with Oscar Bacon in the end. If they had one more lap, Oscar would have had P2 definitely. Turbo Boy, as we were watching, is just going to hold off Whack, and 9-ball just behind them as well. Adam Millsy, P7 on his debut. Capel, P8, he was leading at one point. Guardrail Lover, also known as Andres, in P9. Black Charizard in 10th. And then we have Sick, struggling along on completely dead rear tyres in the Huracan in P11. And Ben in the other Huracan is going to struggle. So neither of these two are going to get any points in the sprint race for the Lamborghini team, unfortunately. But they are going to be first and second. Oh, look at that lovely slide. Oh, and he saves it as well. They're going to be first and second in the feature race. which we're going to have a look at as soon as we see Ben cross the line here. Any minute now. There we go. Horrible race for Ben. So that was the sprint. Oh, it's closed down for me, which is lovely. Okay, content search, following, replays. Where is he? Yeah, right. Just bear with me, it's going to have to download a little bit. So the best the best strategy obviously was yeah, right. And he had the best pace. Well, one of the cars with the best pace. I wouldn't say outright. Might be a bit of a different story for him in the feature though. He's got to start last, and tyre wear will be a much bigger issue. Actually, it will be an issue for the first time because there wasn't really a tyre wear issue for most of these drivers in the wet in the previous race. But there's a few cars that are going to struggle with tyres here because there's the Hurricanes as well, who looked like they weren't managing the tyres too well. The Porsche has okay tyre wear. The Peugeot has really good tyre wear, so they might be ones to look out for. Let me just pause this as I sort the settings out. So yeah, who have we got? Oh, we got Mr. Berserk joining for the feature race in the Ferrari as well. Quite similar to the Lamborghini. They've both had a big upgrade in performance, just like the Gen X as well, but the tyre wear is a bit dodgy. But we've got Ben on pole position, so we'll be able to follow him as we start. So let's get going. It is a rolling start, 40-minute feature race at dawn. Much better weather. You can see the sun a bit brighter as we have our sunrise opening to Season 9. Looks like nothing's really happening in turn 1. Everyone seems to... Ooh, a little bit wide from Ben, but then he cuts back onto the inside, so nothing really to worry about. But he does have his teammate all over the back of him as we approach the S's. Doesn't look like any changes yet in position. Everyone is snaking through the S section. Really lovely. Oh, Ben's gone wide on just the end of Sector 1 there, so sick individuals. Well, Ben's going to drop to, he's 4th now. Is he going to drop to 5th behind 9ball? There's one, oh, 9ball's in the gravel. Ben's lost out to Capale now, who's had a great start. He's all the way up to 4th again. And everyone behind is all over the place. But we do have sick individuals in P1, so let's follow him a little bit. Black Charizard is battling with Andres for P2 as well. So quite a decent start for Sick. Maybe built a 1.5 2-second lead over Black Charizard. They are both on the medium tyres as well. Medium soft is optimal strategy around here. So what Sick will be trying to do is build a gap over the one-time Tier 2 champion in GT7, Black Charizard. And not get caught like he is being doing now. And Andres is pretty close behind as well, with Capale and Oscar working his way all the way up to 5th. So Oscar was 3rd in race 1, almost 2nd, after being one of the only drivers not to pit. He's already up to P5. I think that was him going really wide as well, or it might have been Capale. But yeah, Sick looks like he's going to close out the opening lap in P1. With his teammate Ben, who started on pole, is going to be down in P7 after his mistake. Looks like Black Charizard might no, it's probably not close enough for turn 1. Let's follow on board actually as we go through the S's and see. Oh, what's happened? So Black Charizard is now our race leader. That's unfortunate. Sick made a mistake in turn 1, which is so easy to do. We saw it happen loads of times in the sprint race. Now he's all the way down in P6, just ahead of his teammate as he goes onto the grass there as well. Maybe going wide, made his tyres a little bit dirty, and he's not taking these corners as well as his teammate, for example, who's just gone past there. And now we've got Whack, who ran into the back of him. It looked like Bomber lost a few positions there. Let's see what happened. Maybe just didn't give enough space to the cars ahead as they all clustered together. Oh, he just gets nudged out of the way by his teammate 9 ball there. Now he's back down to P11 after working his way up. Okay, let's see what's happening with Black Charizard. He's got a bit of a train behind him. 4-car train, 4-way battle for the lead, which you love to see. So the Audi takes the hairpin ahead of the Renault and the Peugeot and the Porsche. Okay, I heard some screeching from Whack. Let's go back 20 seconds. So he was doing pretty well. Worked his way up to P8 as we go through the Lesmos. Not the Lesmos, I can't remember what these corners are called. Similar to the Lesmos in Monza, but definitely not. So we're going 3 wide into the hairpin, which is not the best. He gets pushed onto the grass, and he comes to a stop in the gravel and gets overtaken by pretty much everybody. So yeah, let's rejoin Black Charizard as it looks like Pale and Oscar are having a little battle. And Capale wins this battle for now. Guardrail Lover, also known as Andres, won races in Tier 2 before, as did Black Charizard, both Tier 4 drivers now, and battling for the lead. Looks like the Audi's got some pretty good straight line speed, to be honest, so it might be quite difficult to overtake Charizard here. He didn't take the 130R very well though, and he broke a little bit early, which allowed Capale to have a little dive down the inside of Andres, but made a little bit of contact and now is getting overtaken around the outside as we approach the final corner and the start-finish straight. It looks like Oscar has got the move done, but the 3 of them are incredibly close going into turn 1, and this is great news for Charizard, who is going to be able to build a little bit of a lead, and they both get in each other's way, and it looks like Capale is going to take P2 from P4 in one corner. Great little move from Capale, just keeping his composure while the other drivers are battling and having a bit of argy-bargy. Pasty in the meantime has worked his way all the way up to 5th out of nowhere, so love to see what happened with him to work his way up. I won't do that though. Let's see, what's the tyre situation? Is everyone on mediums at the moment? Yes, every single driver is on mediums. So, despite the battling that the other drivers were having, they've all caught up to Charizard pretty quickly, which kind of suggests that they do have a bit more pace than Charizard at this circuit. Looks like Bomber's finally made his way back up into P8 after his little error earlier on as well. So, back straight. This is where, on the previous lap, the Audi either had an absolutely amazing exit or has some pretty good straight line speed. Excuse me. But Charizard didn't take 130R well compared to... oh, Capale goes really wide. He might get overtaken by Oscar here. No, he manages to defend the inside of the chicane pretty well and fend Oscar off for now, but Oscar's got a bit of a run as we go through the final corner of the track. And Oscar's, well, he wants to go down the inside, but Capale's not going to allow that. Capale's defending the inside with all of his might, and that's really what you need to do because it's a double right-hander, and you're pretty much guaranteed to keep the corner as long as you hit the apexes. But Oscar's not giving up easily. He's doing really well here to put on the pressure. And once again, this gives Black Charizard a little bit of breathing room. Oh, if he gets the move done around the outside here, I'll be incredibly impressed. And he does. That's a fantastic move. Looks like Capale turned in a little bit too early and just, you know, completely lost all of his momentum. He might come under a bit of pressure here now from Andres. Through the hairpin. Oscar's already all over the back of Charizard now, so Oscar's probably going to have a go just after this double left-hander. Is it called Spoon? It might be called Spoon, actually. One day I'll learn the corner names before I start doing commentary, but that day is not today. Ooh, really wide there from, I think it was Andres. Yeah, he's lost out to Pasty there. Free position to Pasty. 9ball might get a free position as well. And he does in that Genesis. And he gets the move done before 130R. Oscar, meanwhile, is still all over the back of Charizard. Again, Charizard has good straight line speed by the looks of things. Doesn't cut the chicane as much as Oscar does. Oscar gets a penalty for it. I was going to say it looked a bit dodgy, but some of these corners you can really cut without getting a penalty, so he's really driving on the limits here to try and get a move done, but he'll, to be honest, he'll want to overtake Charizard, because if he doesn't, he'll lose position to Kerpale, and maybe a couple more by the time we get to the penalty zone. Let's join him on board. Oof. See, it's just so tempting sometimes when you have so much more pace than the driver in front of you to just stick a nose in when they leave the door open slightly, but in Sector 1 in Suzuka, there's some corners that you can get away with doing that. You can't here because you'll just punt the other driver off and then just get a big penalty from the stewards for reckless driving. Oscar goes really wide there, which allows Capale to close up. Yeah, so this is really bad news for Oscar. He's going to lose a position to Capale when he hits the penalty zone, and maybe Pasty as well, but we'll stick with Capale for now. His connection definitely improved for the feature race, which is good. Here we go, you can see the yellow bar slowly starting to fill as we approach the penalty line. Let's see, so there's the second. I'm just going to get ghosted through by Capale. And what about Pasty? His teammate approaching him really quickly, but they go through 130R, which is good for him because it prevents the momentum continuing. It looks like he's going to consolidate P3, and he's going to have to start his attack all over again on Black Charizard, with Capale in the way as well. He is coming under a lot of pressure from his teammate now. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on with this teammate situation, because they weren't teammates last season, sorry. They were championship rivals, well, championship for P2 because the dude ran away with Tier 4 last season. So they will want to beat each other, but they also don't want to hold each other up. And when you've got the Genesis is just behind as well, putting pressure, you don't want to be fighting too much and allowing them to go through, because no doubt at the end of the season they'll be in the Constructors' Championship fights as well. Looks like 9balls did a really good entry there, but couldn't get a move done. Genesis does have really good brakes as well. We might try and cut back. Andres really close behind as well. The whole pack is incredibly tight. Apart from, let's see who's a bit further back. Whack Jams, who had a pretty decent sprint down in 9th. Ben struggling in the Huracan. So is Sick. Berserk struggling in the Ferrari. He hadn't actually raced it before joining this race, so it doesn't surprise me. He was the Tier 5 runner-up last season. And Adam's really struggling as well in the Audi. So we got the Audi's bookending the race at the moment, but it's probably like this, what is it, an 8-car battle for the lead. It looks like Bomber, who is at the very back of this pack, is going to try and move on Pasty, who's dropped down a couple of positions. Doesn't get the move done. We've got 9balls still. Oh no, now he's defending from Turbo Boy. Beg your pardon. So he's no longer challenging Oscar like he was. field spread is starting to happen a little bit now, which again is great news for Charizard. He's managed to keep his composure really well here to not really be challenged at the important parts of the track by some of these drivers. He's been a little bit slow in the first sector compared to some of them, but obviously that's not an overtaking spot, and then for the rest of the track he's looked quite comfortable. And now Capel has been caught by Oscar once again. He didn't actually get an overtake done on Oscar, it was just because of Oscar's penalty. So Oscar will have to re-overtake him. Looks like Bomber and Guardrail Lover are having a little battle. Oh no, what happened? So comfortably in P6, having a really good sprint race at this point. Just his car just twitches and he goes into the gravel, almost saves it, and then doesn't. So that'll be his challenge for the win over, and now it's probably a 7-way battle for victory. Currently the fastest lap is with Bomber, who's set at 2 minute 5, which is about 1.8 quicker than the last lap that Charizard set in the lead. Go through 130R again. Capel is going to have a little look, and it looks like he's got the move done going into the chicane quite comfortably actually. Black Charizard was just too cautious around 130R there, and Capel just had all sorts of momentum. And now Oscar is going to try and do the exact same thing, and Charizard, after leading for so many laps, is likely to lose 2 positions in a few corners here. But once again, he's got quite a good straight line speed, so yeah, Oscar couldn't build on that momentum from Charizard being all out of shape in the final chicane. All 3 of these, okay, we need to rewind that and see what's happening here from the driver's point of view. It looks like Oscar tried a Leroy Jenkins style move in the S's. Yeah, dodgy, and then a little bit of karma there. Obviously it wasn't going to work, but both drivers managing to keep it on track, so no harm done. And this is again pretty decent news for Capel. He'll want these other drivers behind him fighting as much as possible so that he can start to build out a bit of a gap. Really good lines Oscar's taking, using the full width of the track. And then some a little bit there. So we get a penalty for that, probably not. Lovely livery on that Porsche. So how's Bomber doing? He's in P6 at the moment, so he managed to overtake Pasty at some point. And Turbo Boy is the next on his hit list. This group lost a little bit of... Oh, look how he's sliding around there. The Persia's got good stability as well, so you have to really be pushing hard to make it slide like that. That's more of a Huracan or a Ferrari kind of slide. Really, really bad on the tyres doing that as well. So I think the Gen X is going to have a bit of a run here, but it all depends on how they take 130R. The Peugeot has good aero as well. He manages to stay comfortably ahead for now. How's Oscar doing? Still all over the back of Charizard. Charizard was really wobbly going through turn 1. And that, yeah, and he's wobbly on the exit of turn 2 as well. And Oscar's going to try the move around the outside. Is he going to get it done? Yes, he does. Let's go and see that on board, because some of these camera angles are absolutely shocking today. So really pushing 5th gear here. down to 4th, hits the apex perfectly. Charizard gets all out of shape there. Oscar places his car pretty decently. There's a little tap as well. And then, yeah, there's just nothing that Black Charizard could do. That's a great move. That's a great move from Oscar. And now he's probably feeling the pressure a little bit because he got the car so close behind him, and he has to hit every apex here, which he isn't doing, which is allowing Charizard to have another little run on him here. But yeah, there's nothing that can be done. Well, he basically ran out of road to try and get alongside. And once again, these two are battling, which is relief for Capel. And Charizard, who was leading for a good portion, is now down to 3rd, with 9-Ball fairly close behind as well. Nine-Ball might be, well, 9-Ball's tyres are pretty dead though at this point. Compare them to Charizard's in that Audi. Night and day difference. Oh, it's a bit strange though, because 9-Ball's rear tyres are much better than Charizard's rears, but his front tyres are completely dead compared to Charizard's, which are almost perfect. So, yeah, very different handling models on some of these cars. Certain tracks, as a result, are really going to heavily favour a car like the Audi compared to the Gen. Gen X seems to be getting along well with Suzuka, but the next round we're at Catalonia, which is really hard on the front tyres. And 9-Ball has a penalty as well. What about Bomber? What's his tyres like? Actually, he's on the mediums and his tyres are almost full health, so he's obviously not sliding his car around like 9-Ball is, and as a result will be able to go much longer into the race without losing a chunk of time. And I actually think that as a result he's probably going to get past Turbo Boy and 9-Ball in the next couple of laps if there's no pit stops. They're going to have to go maybe another 2 or 3 laps at least. I don't know what the strategy is. I didn't race around here, but I can imagine 9-Ball getting another 2 laps out of those front tyres is going to be pretty impossible. So getting a good result in this feature race, even though he's in P4 at the moment with his second penalty, it might be a tough task for him if he has to come in. And then, well, and he's a little bit wide there as well. Charizard once again sticking to the back of Oscar pretty well here. So we're gonna see, yeah, he's probably going to lose 2 positions when he serves this second penalty. So all that hard work that he's done so far, one thing he definitely needs to work on is his tyre management, because look at his tyres. His front tyres compared to Bomber in the exact same car, same tyre, same track conditions. It's just a completely different driving style. Maybe one's on pad and one's on wheel. So let's see. Here comes 1 and 2. Really easy. Now 9-Ball is down to P6. And where's Pasty? Because I did say it was a 7-way fight for the lead. He is there, you can see his lights right there. And Bomber has been gifted a few positions here through penalties and trips off track, which is what you need when you start at the back on a feature race. You need as much good fortune, or well, misfortune of others, to work your way up to the front without losing too much time. He's setting times in the 2-minute 1s at the moment, as Turbo Boy looks like he's having a move done on Oscar, so on Black Charizard, sorry. So I wonder what happened to Charizard, because so they've gone side by side into turn 2. Okay. So he had a look, he had a little look, but nothing could be done with that move. And Oscar, who did seem a lot quicker than Charizard, hasn't been able to get away from him ever since he overtook him. Okay, right, let's see. Charizard's gonna have another look. Really good comeback race for Charizard, I'd say, this one. Obviously the first race was rain affected, so it's not so easy to see what people's pace was, but I think he qualified P6 and was running P6 for most of that race. And now he's in P3 for now. It'll be really interesting to see what happens in the pit stop windows as well, because most of these cars are new for the league, or have been rarely used, so we don't really know what their fuel situation is like for some of these cars, and which cars are gonna be able to jump others in the pits. Hello, Saeed. So Capel seems to have quite a lead now. He's lapping in the 2-minute 2s, and well, Oscar's last couple of laps, because he's been fighting, well, actually he's consistently in the 3s and 4s here. And that is exactly why Bomber's been able to catch up to this battle for P2 downwards, because he's been in the 2-minute 1s. Ooh, we've got a Turbo Boy and Bomber in the pits. And 9 balls, so it looks like lap 11 seems to be an ideal time to come into the pits. So these will all trying to be getting the undercut on the top 3. So it'll be interesting to see Turbo Boy, Bomber, who will come out first, and also will this one lap be enough for them to leapfrog the top 3? And will the top 3 keep fighting now that they know that the others have come into the pits, because they need to have a really good lap. So Turbo Boy comes out in P7 behind Bomber, so that's really interesting. So maybe Bomber was able to save a bit of fuel. They both come out behind Sick though, which is really bad news for them. Sick on older soft tyres. Don't know if he already pitted to do that, potentially, not sure. I doubt it, actually. Unless he's doing a 2-stopper. He could be hitting that Hurricane. But yeah, Bomber's going to get held up a little bit by Sick, which is great news for the top 3. Hitting the apex there for the Gen X. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Unfortunate for Sick there, as you see Capel's come into the pits. Not sure if Oscar's stayed out. Oh no, Oscar and Charizard in the pits as well. So Capel has quite a decent lead over the 2 behind them, so he should come out ahead of them regardless of if he needs to put in a little bit extra fuel. It looks like Oscar was the most greedy on the fuel there. So the question is, now that Bomber has a few corners of clear air along with Turbo Boy, are they going to be able to jump the top 3? Bear in mind Bomber was P5 going into the pits. He's already in 5th place because he got the jump on Turbo Boy done. Capel looks like he's already out. Let's see. So he jumps 3 cars in the pit sequence, which is a great return for Bomber. Once again, had the correct pit strategy, 100%. Just like in the sprint race, he chose the perfect time to pit, got the undercut done, and didn't even need to pass 3 cars because he did it all in the pits. Turbo Boy is in P3, so he's really benefited from this strategy as well. Charizard come out in P4, and now he's right in the mix with Sick, who's still in P5, Pasty in P6, and Oscar, who was in 3rd and dropped down to P7. Looks like he's got past his teammate again, though. Battling on track quite a lot, these 2. Yeah, Oscar's getting held up by Sick now. He needs to overtake him going into the hairpin. He's going to have much better tyres on the brakes, so he can try a late move, and he does. He actually nearly hits Charizard there. And now the battle between Charizard and Oscar is going to carry on once again. Charizard also overtook Oscar in the pits, so I don't know if he put in extra fuel. It kind of looks like he put in a little bit more fuel than Charizard did, and that's probably why he got jumped in the pits. And now, yeah, Six really struggling with this corner specifically today. And that's going to probably allow Pasty to get the move done fairly quickly on him. Maybe not yet. If I was Pasty, I'd try and move under braking here. And he does. And he gets the move done. Yeah, Sick just doesn't have the confidence with these tyres. Look at the rear, they're all completely red. He's sliding into the pits. Lovely power slide there to make his, I'm assuming it's his second stop, I'm not too sure. Let's see what's happening at the front. So we've got Capel in P1. A fair amount ahead of Bomber. So he was leading the sprint race and could have potentially won that if he didn't have his lag issues. And now he's leading the sprint. He's maybe 5 seconds, I'd probably guess, ahead of Bomber. Turbo Boy has a half-second penalty, but really keeping up with Bomber throughout this race. So yeah, he's proven to have a lot of pace and clearly chose well. He goes purple in sector 1 as well. Only a 10th off the fastest time as well, his fastest lap, so showing really good pace on these softs now that he's bolted them on. And then there's a big gap down to Oscar, who's really lost out there, potentially on a podium because of pitting a lap later. The undercut was king on this track quite clearly. Charizard in 5th and Pasty in P6 now. After battling with his teammate Oscar a lap ago, he's lost a little bit of time. And then it looks like all on his own is Andres. So he'll just probably be trying to put in some consistent laps and maybe waiting to see if anyone ahead of him has any big mistakes that he can capitalize on. After going into the pits again on his another set of softs in the Huracan, Sick is 8th, Whack is in P9. Then we got Berserk and Ben in last. Really surprised to see Ben struggling so much. I'm gonna go with he hasn't practiced for this race because he's quicker than me over one lap, but a lot of the time he is prone to doing that in the race though. And he gets lapped. Oh, Ben. Oh dear. Let's go back in the front. We don't want to see him suffer anymore. So a 2-minute 5 for Bomber, who also is the leader of the race. What the hell happened? He was okay. So let's join on with Capel. He's binned it. Oh, and once again, like, Bomber's the luckiest person in Tier 4, I've got to say. He's just driven a normal race and everyone else has just crumbled around him. He hasn't really had to do many overtakes, he hasn't had to, all he's done is choose a better strategy and not make mistakes, and he's winning another race. And what that's going to do to the point standings as well. So Capel definitely has amazing pace, as does Turbo Boy. The two Peugeots, looks like they're going to be a double Peugeot podium, so I'd imagine they'll be the constructors' leaders, because 9ball, I don't know where he is. Has he quit? Naughty if he has. That'll be a warning. Have to make sure he doesn't get points. Anyway, so yeah, that's bad news for the Genesis, because even if you got 14th place, that's 2 points that you're going to miss out on because you quit. And there's Ben again? Oh, no, that was what happened, because we had to rewind to see what happened to Capel. So yeah, I wouldn't say the race is over and done with. The top 6 are all still pretty close together. Well, so anything could happen if there's another mistake in the next lap, because we are on our final lap. We are 20, oh no, we're not. I thought this was a 30-minute race. Shut up, Ross. It's 40 minutes. We've got a lot of laps left. I don't know how many. So yeah, it's still anyone's game, but Bomber's leading, and it's on him essentially to just manage the pace here. Capel looks like he's losing a bit of ground now, which might be frustrating Turbo Boy a little bit, his teammate, who probably feels at this point that he has a bit more pace, because he served that half-second penalty and he's still right on the tail of his teammate. Everyone seems to be lapping pretty similarly. Black Charizard, however, seems to be a little bit off the pace on these softs. In the 2-minute twos, he needs to be in the 2 minutes. So he needs to find maybe a second and a half worth of pace. Or else he'll... Oh, what? Capel's gone off again in the exact same point. Hold on, let's see what's happened. He's ruining his race here through his own fault, essentially. Yeah, the same corner. He just takes a bit too much speed in. Probably because he's a little bit under pressure from his teammate there. And then, yeah, he's struggling. He's probably going to get overtaken by these two. Now Oscar, after a strategy mistake, I would call it, coming into the pits too late, is back on the podium. And Capel backs Charizard into Pasty a little bit there. Pasty is being very patient this race around cars that probably have a bit less pace than him. Now Charizard, yeah, Capel goes a bit wide again. Manages, yeah, and again, he's just not hitting any of these apexes on these soft tires. And Charizard's just breezed past him. Pasty's going to be all over the back of him as well. He's actually alongside, but he's going to have that outside line into 130R. Which isn't ideal. All three of them incredibly close together now. Charizard keeps P4. Pasty, once again, happy to just stay in 6th and avoid any incidents. Some drivers really like to get their elbows out. Looks like Oscar's one of them, probably 9-ball I'd say as well. I think Pasty's the complete opposite of that by the looks of things. Excuse me, he's just settled in behind Oscar in P2. So what happened to Turbo Boy? Right. Quite similar to Capel. He just goes a little bit too wide, gifts Oscar the place. Oscar says thank you very much, and he's back into 2nd. Oscar, I think, will definitely be, and he gets the 2nd penalty of the chicane as well, so he's going to have to do something good in this lap. He's already built quite a lead over Turbo Boy, though. I think, in terms of the championship, obviously this is great, a great race for Bomber. It's been made very easy for him, though. I don't know, I've never had this kind of luck in any of my races in Aero League racing, where, like, the river gets parted like fucking Moses, basically, and he just finds himself comfortably in 1st in both races through not doing much overtaking or anything, just being patient and watching other people make mistakes. Oscar definitely has the pace to challenge him. I think Turbo Boy does as well, although this stint on the softs hasn't been the best so far for him. Charizard's still holding back Capel. Capel, if he irons out the mistakes, could have won both of these races that looks like Bomber's going to win. Pasty, I don't think is a championship contender unless he is a bit braver with his moves, his overtake attempts, because he's still stuck behind Charizard, who he clearly has a lot more pace than, and he has been all race. As for these guys down here, well, I thought Ben would have a good chance. But it's only race 1, there's 7 more rounds to go, and I think he'll get pole positions and stuff this season, and definitely a few race wins. He is a multiple race winner in ALR, as is Berserk, so these two just need a little bit of practice for next week. I think they could win. Meanwhile, Bomber is solidly in the 2 minutes here. Oscar's in the 2-minute twos, but he did serve a penalty. Turbo Boy's in the 2-minute flats, as is Capel, who looks like he's finally getting moved on Charizard. He's got the inside line as well. He just needs to hit the apex and the move is done. And he does it, and is Pasty going to follow him through? He's going to back out again. He do a little bit of contact there. And he backs out once again. And I have a feeling he's just going to finish behind Charizard all season at this rate. Every time he cruises up to the back of him, he's just going to just follow him. But yeah, good news for Capel. After leading the race, he's worked his way back up to P4 after multiple mistakes in the part of the track that we're just going to enter now, the double right-hander, which is clearly this track's death corner. We've seen a lot of drivers go off here. He manages to do it just fine this lap though. Turbo Boy looks like he's caught up a little bit to the back of Oscar here. Let's see what the tyre situation is as well. So maybe 60% tyre life left for Bomber. Pretty similar for Oscar, pretty similar for Turbo. Capel's got great tyres compared to them in that Peugeot. Black Charizard in the Audi, another one with pretty good tyre wear here. Pasty, his are getting a bit worn. The Porsche's not the best on tyres anymore. It used to be really good on tyres, but after the update, even though it's still one of the best cars, maybe not the best on tyre wear, so he might drop off now, start dropping off. He might struggle in Catalonia as well. The Renault is awesome on tyres, look at that. So Andres has been obviously sliding through some of these corners because his rear tyre wear is fairly bad compared to his front tyre wear. We know Six had to pit multiple times because of how he treats the tyres. Wack is just solidly a P9. The McLaren probably has the best tyres out of this grid, and it's going to open up probably more options for the McLaren later in the season when some cars are going to have to two-stop at certain tracks with higher tyre wear, and he won't have to. Once he gets to grips with the league as well, I reckon end of sprint races when other people's softs are worn, he might be able to pick off some easy places as well. And we've got Berserk and Ben. Berserk set a 2:02 is as fast as Ben. His fastest lap in the last 10 is a 2:11. Jeez. Maybe we need to put him in tier 6 next season. Tier 7, tier 8, it depends on how many we have. But yeah, it looks like quite an easy end to the race for Bomber. He's not had to really get involved in any battles. Oscar's got himself penalties and had to overtake cars multiple times, but the pace is definitely there, so he just needs to iron out the mistakes, do well, practice basically, and he can definitely win a few more races this season just like he did last season. Definitely not ruling Turbo Boy out either. He's been pretty much stuck to the back of Oscar since Oscar overtook him. So we got 3 minutes and 5 seconds left, plus whatever lap they're on they get to finish, which is probably 2 more laps for everybody. So opportunities are running out to get overtakes done. Turbo Boy is probably closer than he's ever been. Looks like he had a really good run through that final chicane. Quite sure what was going on there, but he lost a lot of time to Oscar on the straight. What about Capel? Capel's solidly in 4th. Charizard, oh, he lost it going into turn 2, just a little twitch, and Pasty finally gets past him, and I expect Pasty will be able to finish in P5 there. His tyres are completely gone though. Like I said, the Porsche, he's got what, this lap and the next lap to do, so actually all hope isn't lost for Charizard in getting that place back. Look how much he's struggling going through the S's here. Let's see how he tackles the double right-hander. A little bit wide there, although Capel in front of him had a really dodgy exit to that corner. If Pasty had some better tyres, he'd have been able to do a late braking manoeuvre there and get the overtake done. But Capel's quite lucky that he's not looked after these tyres very well in this feature race. Turbo Boy and Oscar is still really close, just ahead of them as well. Yeah, he's struggling. He's struggling to hit apexes at the moment, is Pasty. And what about Charizard? Charizard's he's actually holding him off quite well. He's closer to Capel than he is to Charizard. And he's only 6/10 off his best time. Although his best time's 9/10 down on what Bomber did. Looks like Turbo Boy had a little mistake. He's lost a bit of ground ahead as well to Oscar. So let's have a look. Bomber is starting his final lap. He's going to overtake or lap whatever car that was. Then again. Damn. Oscar comfortably in P2. His tyres are nearly, yeah, he's timed it perfectly with his tyres. His tyres are pretty dead, just like Pasty's. Excuse me. But the good news for him is Turbo Boy's kind of burned through his as well. Capel's probably got the best tyres out of the top 5, apart from Bomber, who hasn't had to push his tyres too hard because he's had it all handed to him in this race. Oh, we've already got some final laps on the go. It's got Whack in P8, Sick in P9, Berserk approaching the final chicane. He'll get P10 on his return to Tier 4. Actually, is it his Tier 4 debut, I should say. He's never raced in a Tier 4 before. So a good little starting point for, and then Ben in P11 will be the last of the finishers, but he's going to be the last to actually cross the checkered flag. So let's join Bomber. He's had a flawless race. He's got the strategy call perfect in both of the races tonight, and he has been a deserving winner. I don't think the rest of the season is going to be as straightforward for him though, because these guys, they are very good. All of them have, well, most of them have won races with us, so they definitely know how to win races. Maybe it was just a first race jitters and new cars and new handling, but Bomber is your winner today. Yeah, right, that's his name. Oscar manages to hold off the two Peugeots. Turbo Boy P3, Capel really closed the gap into P4. Pasty gets P5, Charizard P6 in the end. And then we've got Andres, who's been on his own all race. It must have been quite a boring experience for him, but he gets some good points for the Renault team in P7. Got Whack P8 on his debut. He got 2 top 10 results to start off his ALR career, which is pretty decent. And then we got Sick, obviously P9, Berserk P10. And once again, let's just wait for Ben, whose rear tyres are completely gone. It's going to be a 3-minute lap here. Oh, just shy of a 3-minute lap for Ben. And that is the end of your feature race. So I need to double check who was recorded below 11th, because unfortunately they won't get any points. But yeah, thanks for joining me. We've got Catalonia up tomorrow, so I'm heading off to do some Catalonia practice because I want to get my own double win, emulate what Yeah Right did here. Hopefully I'll get that kind of luck in Tier 3. But yeah, thanks for watching, and join me next time. I'll definitely be getting the broadcast out a lot quicker next week because I was on holiday this week and I only just got back today. So yeah, join me there.